Colonel Gavin Jacob and his boss, General Senona, have been caught in a web of shocking contradictions and damning evidence. What started as a routine testimony has turned into a full-blown nightmare for them, with every answer digging their hole deeper. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how these two were cornered and why the walls are closing in fast. Many doubted General Mkhwanazi when he first blew the whistle, but this testimony is proving him right in the most dramatic way possible. If you've been following the fight against corruption in the Hawks and SAPS, you don't want to miss this. Drop a "Thank you, Mkhwanazi" in the comments and show your support. Like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss these critical updates.
I can accept that, but I still maintain, Commissioner, that the station has to cater for their own area, policing area, and more especially Maiden Wharf is one of the stations that regularly receives large amounts of drugs and exhibits from the harbour.
Just where's the logic in that? Where is the logic in that? Because 2 questions before, you were debating on the basis of the cumulative quantity of the 541 and the 999. Now you are told that, but you would have gotten space before the 999.
Yes.
Now I don't understand.
Okay, Commissioner, yes, I got it backward, Chair. My apologies. But
I'm trying to yes. understand the logic of what you said just now.
Yes.
Do you accept this completely illogical?
Okay, I got it mixed up in terms of which exhibits reach first, Chair.
But that was clarified.
Yes,
yes. Clarified to you.
Yes.
Clarified it to you.
Okay, but
and now you started giving some other explanation, the logic of which I simply do not understand.
Okay, my point, I think, in essence, Chair, is that exhibits are continuously being entered at certain stations. Now, in the event my 541 kilos was accepted at
if the 999, let's not even use if, because they did accept the 999.
Yes.
So I can't see why they could not have accepted your 541.
Okay.
Do you accept that?
Yes, I accept.
In all probability, they would have accepted your 541.
Yes.
So what issue are we debating now?
Okay, can I expand on that?
Please,
and I
yes.
hope I'm not going to annoy you, Chair, with this.
No, I'm not in the least annoyed.
Okay.
No.
I'm saying, Chair, this is how it works. If my 541 kilograms was at Maiden Wharf, and like I say, I'm not sure of the exact capacity of their safe, and now they received 999. Most stations don't have capacity for all
That's Colonel Sanders' problem when he comes with the 999.
Okay, yes.
You already have your space.
Yes. So I'm saying, what would be the practical challenge, Chair? You would get a call from that station to say, we've got our own exhibits now. There's 999 that we need to store. And they've got my 540. It hasn't happened.
But that has nothing to do with what we are debating, which is why at the initial stage you did not go to Maiden Wharf. What happens down the line when there's 999 has nothing to do with why you were not the first at Maiden Wharf. Do you get my point?
I get your point, Chair.
So you basically have no answer to Ms. Silo's question. Do you accept that? It's as simple as all that. Do you accept that?
I accept it, but can I give a practical example?
Yes, okay, all right. No, go ahead and explain.
You know, back to my Simbiti case, the one in Umhlali policing area. Similarly, if we sat here today and those exhibits got stolen, I would have been asked, or say it got stolen from Brighton Beach, those chemicals that I said eventually ended up in Brighton Beach. One would have argued, why did I store those exhibits?
That's a different issue altogether, Colonel. That is a different issue altogether. What we are talking about now is the availability of storage space within Durban.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are debating.
Sure.
And you accepted when I engaged you earlier that you proceeded on the basis of an assumption. Now Ms. Silo is engaging you specifically about Maiden Wharf and is demonstrating to you that what you've been telling us lacks substance because someone who came, a colleague of yours, who came a month later, was able to get space for an even larger quantity of suspected cocaine. So this is about your decision at the initial stage. It has nothing to do with the possibility of theft down the line. And in any event, that could not have been your concern at the stage of where must this cocaine, suspected cocaine, be stored. Mr. Lo, you may comment if you want to.
Just like I said, maybe I'm laboring on the point, but my point in mentioning the Mhlali case, Chair, was that stations did have capacity closer around to Mhlali. They did have the space to store. They did have, in the case where eventually Brighton Beach assisted, the stations had the physical capacity in terms of their safes. If you looked at it, they could accommodate more than a ton. Why they didn't accommodate me, I can't answer you. But I failed.
When were you not? Why did they? When is it that they did not accommodate you?
We did this in September 2020. And the reasons they cited, Chair, was not that they wouldn't even give...
What's that got to do with June 2021? What's that got to do with June 2021?
I think, Chair, I was just trying to show that my past experience showed me that stations...
Surely you could not base your decision on something that historical. You couldn't. You accepted earlier when I engaged you that you proceeded or you took your decision purely on the basis of an assumption. You've accepted that. And I think we should move on unless you again want to give some other explanation.
Thank you.
I'm not gagging you. If you want to give some other explanation, you are free to.
No, it's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, Colonel, I want you to say this still on this document. It's a simple yes to say, looking at item 5, before July of 2021, before the 30th of July 2021, what it shows is that there was space to store 540 kilograms at Maiden Wharf. It's as simple as
that, Commissioner, yes.
Forget about September, October, the following year. Just looking at that, it's as simple as that.
Yes, I agree with you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. Colonel, staying with your statement, and I think you've touched on this slightly, I would like you to have regard to your paragraph 29, your statement now at page 5.
It's CJC, Commissioner?
No, your own statement, your statement to the Commission.
Okay.
Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay. Page 5, paragraph 29. You state in that paragraph, and I'll just read it out quickly, I knew that 2 police stations that normally assisted with storage, viz. Durban Central SAP and Brighton Beach SAP, still had exhibits from our drug seizures conducted in February 2020 and September 2020, respectively. I'll stop there. You see that?
Yes, yes.
Now let's talk about the September 2020. Is that the Mhlali seizure that you spoke of?
That's correct.
Okay. What was seized there and what was the quantity?
Exact quantities, I can't recall offhand.
Estimate, in this case,
yes,
we keep saying 540 kg. Yeah, but
looking at maybe a ton of a precursor chemical.
A ton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the February 2020 seizure, what was that?
That was the CHC depot. That was 547 kilograms of mandrax.
Of mandrax?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where these drugs are? Or at the time you were confronted with the 541, did you know where those drugs were? Did you know they were still at those respective police stations?
That is correct.
Okay. And it's on that basis that you say you then concluded, because the one was already holding a ton of chemicals and the other was holding 547 kilograms of mandrax, you concluded that they are not a viable option.
Yes.
Okay. I would like you to go to Exhibit 2. I think, yes, Exhibit 2. No, Exhibit File 2. That's the word I'm looking for. And to go to CJC 242. CJC 242, Chair, page 504.
Got it.
Have you located it?
Yes.
Do you know what that document is?
I can see the heading. It looks like major cocaine and heroin seizures.
Yes, and this is from the period 2020 to date, and whatever date is, but we can determine that. Do you know that document?
I haven't seen it per se. I haven't seen this specific document.
So you wouldn't know who the author...
Sorry, just one second, Commissioner. It may be something that I... Yeah, but the front page does not look familiar, but this could be a presentation. Yes, it is something that I had prepared, Commissioner.
You prepared this document?
Yes.
Okay. Now...
oh, no, sorry. I prepared some of it. I see it's a mixture here, Commissioner.
Yes.
I don't want to mislead you. There's some other slides that I'm not familiar with, but the photos in the front and the Durban Harbour and all of that, I compiled a similar presentation.
No, I'm talking about this one specifically. You contributed to this particular document.
I can't recall contributing to.
I'll confirm that your seizure is in this document as one of the major heroin and cocaine seizures in that period. So it is dealt with in here. That would have been from your contribution, right?
Remember, Commissioner, these stats are released once we do a buy or a seizure or any success. It's out there in our space. So I can't say I was hands-on with this.
I can live with that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you remember I said this, you see from the title.
Yes.
It's major heroin and cocaine seizures from 2020 to date. I have determined that it probably is from March 2020. And the basis for that, and up to the 14th of October 2025. That's my estimate of the period.
Okay.
And the basis for that, you will find at page 570, which is a table of all these seizures over the relevant period.
Yes, I see that.
And I have determined that the last entry at 572 is dated for October 2025. Do you see that?
Yes,
at page 572.
Yes, I see that.
And so you don't have any challenge with my interpretation of what's stated in this document, that is for a period from March 2020 to October 2025.
Yes.
Okay, live with that. All right. Now let's go to page 570. Perhaps before we go to 570, the logical place to start would be...
In this explosive clip from the Madlanga Commission, Colonel Gavin Jacob is exposed as guilty of serious misconduct when he was forced to admit under cross-examination that he deliberately misled both the Commission and his own sworn affidavit by claiming he had exhausted all avenues for storing the 541 kilograms cocaine seizure, when in reality, he never contacted nearby secure facilities like Maiden Wharf, SAPS, and simply assumed they had no space, a false justification that routed the 200 million rand drug haul to the insecure Port Shepstone office, where it was conveniently stolen, proving his direct role in the catastrophic handling failure that enabled the massive theft. This damning testimony reveals Jacob's guilt in the chain of negligence and deception that protected drug syndicates rather than fighting them, further validating General Mkhwanazi's whistleblowing. Let's watch the next clip to continue seeing him fumble.
by Warrant Officer Mkhwanazi. At least he's the one who did it.
Yes.
And from that moment, you did indicate that he was the investigating officer until you took over on the 29th of June. Why is the first? Why is the A1 statement, the first statement in that inquiry file, not his? Because at the point you opened that inquiry file,
yes,
he was the investigating officer. Why doesn't it kick off with his statement and awaits your statement after you have assumed responsibility for the inquiry?
I can't think of a reason, but the simple answer, Commissioner, is that some members don't like writing statements. I'm somebody that enjoys writing and drafts, so maybe that's got something to do with it. He should have filed a statement, but like I'm saying, in these cases, generally just an A1 will suffice because there's no need for so many corroboration or so many witnesses to corroborate what transpired because you're not going to court. So it's generally not done where three people say the same thing. It's only, we take statements normally in these cases from the different role players just to give a complete overview of what transpired.
Okay. So as an investigating officer, Warrant Officer Mkhwanazi, he's the investigating officer from the 22nd. He opens that inquiry file and absolutely nothing happens in that file until you come back after the 29th of June and then you subsequently file your undated statement. Is that the correct position?
Commissioner, that statement that's undated and not signed, it's not like me. So I'm thinking maybe while I was on leave, I did a statement and emailed it to him. I'm not sure, but there wouldn't be a logical reason why I wouldn't sign my statement. So I probably sent it to him. Maybe he printed it and put it there, and I just neglected when I did get the inquiry file to ensure that it was signed and commissioned.
You are trying to give him some activity in the week that he was an investigating officer. It's rather a stretch, Colonel.
Sorry, just on this, absolutely nothing happening until you come back from leave. And I would like to hear your comment on this. It looks like you came in from leave, led the operation, you left and went back to your leave, and then you came back and you took over from where you left off. And the impression that I have is Warrant Officer Mkhwanazi was really holding for you. You never left this matter. And I want to give you one example why it looks that way to me, is you go back to leave on the 22nd. On the 23rd, you phone, I think it's Colonel Kuzwayo, of the FSL, so you are actively involved. You didn't leave it to Mkhwanazi. Somewhere down the line in those days still you talked to him about making sure that these things are entered in the SAP 13. So you continued to be active in this file, in this docket. So it's misleading, in fact, to say I got involved only until 1 o'clock or whatever time on the 22nd, and I left them at Isipingo, and I left and I had nothing to do with the rest of this matter. And then when I came back, he was leaving. Mkhwanazi was going on retirement because everyone in the office knew that was going to happen, and for that reason I took over. People took over his dockets and I took this one over. It seems like it's an engineered set of circumstances that, in fact, the truth of it is this remained your matter even as you were on leave, as we see from your continued involvement when you are on leave. I would like to hear your comment about that. That's the impression I have, and that's my view at this point until you've explained it.
I can understand it, Commissioner. The simple answer is this. I'm a conscientious commander. It's a simple answer. There may have been no need for me to phone the FSL. There may have been no need for me to continue liaising with him whilst I'm on leave. But I felt that's my duty as a commander. Look at it. I had to ensure or remind him to put it in exhibit bags. I'm the one who called the lab, albeit that's in dispute, and found out how to get the ball rolling. All of this that I had done was to ensure that this investigation gains momentum, gets finalized. So, thank you.
The simple fact I'm making, you're actually confirming what I'm saying, that you never left this matter, because the impression you have given, or at least that I had gained, is that you were brought in and you gave an explanation why you told Commissioner Khumalo yesterday, in response to a direct question, why would you come out of leave to deal with this? You are on leave, anyone else could have dealt with it. You gave your explanation. I was excited. I've never been involved in a drug bust at a container. So and I love my job. That's why I went in. I didn't even claim my leave days after I had gone in. But I left because I continued to be on leave. And the proposition I'm making to you is, in fact, you never left. You continued to be involved in this matter, even as you were on leave. You continued to be involved. You say you're conscientious because you're conscientious. Say, well, that's your reason for doing it. All I'm putting to you is the facts. The facts are, Mpangase was acting on your instructions to get exhibit bags, to put things in an SAP 13. You were directing him, do this, do that. Even though you say, I knew him to be an experienced officer who would know what to do. Well, we can see from what has happened that either he didn't know what to do or he was grossly negligent. But you were directing and telling him, do this, do that. But not only that, because you are conscientious, you phone Colonel Khumalo, you call the lab. So you're very busy in the period that you're on leave. So you never stepped off this case. You remained throughout. And Mpangase, and I'm saying to you, my impression is Warrant Officer Mpangase was holding fort for you and taking directions from you while you were on leave. That's the impression I have, and that's what I'm putting to you, it looks like.
Okay, Commissioner, that's the role of a commander, is to guide your members on the correct way to do things or to ensure that certain things are done. So that's what I did. And with regards to, I never knew I'm going to take this seriously. When I came back, I was caught off guard by Mpangase. I was caught off guard. He reminded me he's going off. He doesn't want all of these dockets and inquiries. We can even do a check and see at that stage. It would have been around the same time. All of the dockets and inquiries that were allocated to him were now disseminated to others. So it wasn't this specific case. And the reason that this had come to me is generally the norm that where a member is involved in an operation, then you are the IO. Now, the three options we had was myself, KG Sibia, and Mpangase. Mpangase is the one, I didn't go ask him, I want this investigation. He was the one that didn't want to handle it. When I came back from leave, I never issued an instruction that I want this inquiry. Thank you.
You're not disputing my putting to you the fact that even as you were on leave, you continued to be involved with this. You say because it's a duty of a commander to continue to give directions to their members. You say because you're a conscientious commander. You give your explanations why. I'm putting to you the fact that you continued to be involved. You give a justification for it. All I'm saying to you is the impression that you handed over to Mpangase and you left. And then you came back and he was about to retire and his files were being distributed and this one landed on your desk. It doesn't look like it was all fortuitous because you continued to be involved with this matter in your office. Beyond, other than Mpangase, you knew the most, you had the most involvement with this matter by the time he retired. You and him were the two people closely involved with this matter. Fact, right? That is a fact. Thank you.
Commissioner...
You can comment if you want to.
I think I was actively involved in the 2 days subsequent, or even the day of the operation, and possibly the next day, where I made those calls. Up until the 29th of June, when I returned to work, I had no further engagement or played any part. I told him what needed to be done, and that was it. It's only when I came back. So out of my leave days, it was the 1 day of the operation and 1 day after that I was actively involved. But other than that, I enjoyed my vacation leave, came back on the 29th, and now I find the situation that they're redistributing it, and this comes to me because I was actively involved in it. Thank you.
Chair, might this be an appropriate time for enlarged adjournment? Thank you.
Let's adjourn and resume at 2:10.
Thank you. It was an agreement between by you and Brigadier Nyuswa, or it was Brigadier Nyuswa's instruction. Perhaps it might help to have regard to CJC 243.6. At page, it starts at 589. That is your statement dated 9th November 2021.
Okay, just 1 second, Commissioner.
CJC 243.6.
Page?
589. Calls to Brigadier Nyuswa informing of what was transpiring. I indicated to him that we needed a safe place to store the exhibits. He undertook to make inquiries regarding a safe storage place. Eventually, the brigadier indicated that the NPVC members, together with the tracking team, would assist to convey the exhibits for storage at Port Shepstone Serious Organized Crime Unit. We were instructed to await for those members for an armed escort. And then after a while, some people arrived. Is that your expression of the instruction that you received? That's the closest I get to an instruction in your statement.
Yes, Commissioner.
Just to check this, if Brigadier Nyuswa comes before the commission and states that you put a problem and a challenge to him, and this is an option he could think of at the time, and he put it to you to consider, but that the eventual decision was yours, what would you say?
No, I would totally disagree with that, Commissioner. It's unheard of that a brigadier takes the final decision from a subordinate. I disagree with that.
And you maintain that it was a direct instruction, you could not disobey?
It was a direct instruction.
Okay. Just to finish off on one issue, as I understand your testimony, the container arrived, it had a specific seal number, was locked with a specific seal number, correct? And we've come across that number often enough, H1905754. That is the seal that you broke at CHC depot. I'm looking at your statement, the undated statement, your very first statement at 574. It's not an issue, that seal number. It appears everywhere. So I just want to understand the order of things. You broke that seal.
Yes.
At CHC depot.
Correct.
You emptied the container of the drugs. You took out the bags.
The bags, correct.
Was it sealed thereafter?
Yes, it was.
By who?
My statement will state that. I think I put it somewhere in my statement.
Okay,
You said by an employee of the depot?
Yes, if memory serves me correct.
I'll read another statement of yours at 6:50 dated 26 September 2022 at paragraph 3, last line you say, it is for this reason that I deducted that one of the staff at the warehouse resealed the container with seal number ALUVIN, capital B 1034675. You give that detail in your statement, and you say you deduced that one of the staff members had resealed it. Is that your position? So you don't know who resealed it?
No. Why do I say deduced?
Okay, then let's go to your page 650. That's your statement.
Yes.
Of the 26th of September.
Yes,
Do you have it?
I do.
Okay. Now, just read into the record the last sentence at paragraph 3.
It is for this reason, okay, that I deduced that one of the staff at the warehouse resealed the container with the seal number, and I go on to give a seal number. I think that word deduced does not really fit in there. If you read the line preceding to that, Commissioner, please, or a sentence or two before that, where it starts, the DPCI members on the scene did not have any seals with us. Upon inquiring from members on the scene, no member could take responsibility for resealing the container. It is for this reason that I don't know, deduced is not the right word, that one of the staff at the warehouse resealed the container, but it was resealed in our presence. And I think the reason this was done this way, the seal belonged to the warehouse staff themselves. You know, we were not, border police had no seal. Sometimes customs has seals, but this was a seal kept by the warehouse themselves. So we thought, since they're going to be the custodians, let them seal it. We had that on record. They put it in a place where there's cameras. So that's what transpired there, Commissioner.
You started by denying when I read that. You said you deduced that the staff.
No, I deduced is not the right.
No, but it's the word that I'm looking at. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think, what would I mean by saying
It's one thing to want to correct it. It's another to suggest that I'm making the word up.
Yeah, but Commissioner, I don't know what seems to be the point of this, so that I can address your question.
No, it's all right. You vehemently took issue with what I read, but now you have read it for yourself, and you see it says that you are explaining that you didn't mean deduced.
Yes.
You probably intended to use another word.
Yes.
So I think we're fine. My question really is different. This is the seal after your. Okay, I'll call it the seal of the 22nd of June, 2021.
Yes.
Okay, are we together? Colonel, are we?
Yes,
Okay.
Commissioner, yes.
Now, I am familiar through these documents of those two numbers. If you look at your paragraph 35, it reads, your paragraph 35, your statement now to the commission, at page 6. On 1st July 2021, I proceeded to the CHC depot with Mpangas and Sibia. I had arranged that the clearing agent, Megafreight, send a representative to unpack the container, and we conducted a count of 50 kg of bags of animal feed. You remember yesterday you testified that you needed to satisfy yourself that the animal feed or the commodity that is listed on the bill of lading in the quantities suggested is exactly what you find in there.
Correct, Commissioner.
That exercise of the 1st of July ought to have required you to have broken the seal of the 22nd of June.
That is correct.
Was the container resealed thereafter? And if so, by who?
On the 22nd of June?
No, on the 1st of July.
I actually can't recall, Commissioner, and the reason for that is we then released the container into the clearing agent's hands, so I can't say whether it was resealed or not. I'm unsure.
You break the seal, you do whatever you had decided in the container, then you leave it to the agent, the clearing agent. I ask because that is the one seal number I've never been able to find this third seal number, if it exists at all. So it would suggest that the container, after you opened it on the 1st July 2021 for the purposes stated, was never resealed. And I just wanted to test whether that is the correct position, factual position.
Okay, just so I get clarity, Commissioner, we're saying that when we did conduct the operation on the 22nd of June 2021,
yes,
the original seal was broken. A new seal was put in place to ensure that that container was locked.
Indeed.
On the 1st of July, upon coming back to do an unpack of that container, obviously that seal would have been broken to allow us access to the container. And thereafter, the container itself, after the unpack, was handed over to the clearing agent from Megafreight. So there's no need for the police now to have any interaction with that container.
So the clearing agent then takes full responsibility of the unsealed container at that point.
That is correct.
And that is the reason why I can't find reference to the third seal. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
do say in your diary entry that it was resealed on the 1st of July.
Okay, I
At
can't.
page 804, you just don't give us a picture or a number of that seal.
Okay. Okay, my apologies, Commissioner. I didn't. It's a long time ago. But my point, I think, in essence, is that we have no further interest in this container. So whether I resealed it or not, I've now officially handed it over to the clearing agent.
But what do you mean you have no interest? Whether you seal it or not is irrelevant. I mean, our understanding of the evidence and procedures is you seal it to return it where you found it, basically. At the end of whatever the police do, they lock it up so that they're able to say, this is how we left it. That's why you take pictures of everything that you do. That's why you have a record of what was done, and then you close it up. And then beyond that, if anything is found to be amiss in there, you are able to say, here's our record of what we did and what we found, and when we locked it up, and here's the seal number. So what you're saying now goes contrary completely to those procedures. It means the police can arrive, and in fact, that's what it suggests here. You got there, opened it, did whatever you did, and you just leave it in the hands of the clearing agent, who could turn around and say, stuff was missing.
No. Obviously, he would have to confirm our inspection or our unpack of that container. And like I said, there were 5,395 bags. We would have made him sign some sort of something to confirm our unpack. I can't recall offhand, but I'm saying we would safeguard ourselves to ensure that he doesn't come back and say bags are missing or so.
The issue I'm taking with you is you saying we've done what we needed to do. It doesn't matter that we didn't seal it, because remember your evidence earlier was you were accepting that you did not seal it, or you may not have sealed it, and then you seek to justify that by saying it's actually of no consequence, and that it may not have been sealed, and I'm taking issue with that but it is of consequence. It is worrying that you're sitting there and you're saying it's of no consequence.
Commissioner, I'll say the fact that he's the clearing agent, he was satisfied with the unpack, with all of the occurrences. So in my mind, there was no need, but it seems like we did seal it. But I hear what you're saying.
Is there no requirement that you should seal it? Because, you see, we have to distinguish your ways of doing things from the procedures, the protocols that are required of police officers when they do operations like this. We have to distinguish those. So if you say that's your way of doing it, and according to you it was of no consequence, it's a different subject for criticism, however we choose to criticize it. If you say the protocol doesn't require that I seal it back because it's of no consequence, we look at the protocol and confirm that indeed you're correct to say that, and maybe even comment in finally whether that protocol needs to be amended or not. So I want to understand why you say what you say, that it doesn't matter. Is it because the protocol says it doesn't matter?
Commissioner, as far as I'm aware, when you break the seal, yes, the photos issue and all of that, there needs to be proper reference or documentation of photos taken. Also, before unpack of a container, meaning you've taken out the contraband, you've got the legitimate commodity there, that's a given that you seal that container, before any unpack or anything else happens to that container. As for when the clearing agent is there and you do a final unpack and realize that all is in order, I'm not aware of any obligation in terms of the protocol on us.
Can I ask you the question differently? If the first time you went there on the 22nd, you opened and you found no contraband, are you saying you could simply have walked away without sealing that?
No.
So it doesn't matter that the clearing agent is there. What matters is what are SAP's protocols.
Yes.
Right? That's really what matters. This was a police operation on the 1st of July. It was. When you went and opened there, at least we must assume for now that you were conducting a police operation on the 1st of July. You got there, you instructed that container be opened in the exercise of police function. That's why it's in your diary, right? There are rules about what you do. You record what you have done. You take pictures of what you found there, and then you close up and you record the serial number. That's what I'm suggesting to you, that you record and you take pictures, including pictures on a number of the seal that you've used to reseal the container, whether or not the agent is there.
I think I agree with you going forward and ensure that.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I think it becomes a bit of an issue because I'll put it differently. Warrant Officer Mpangase opened the inquiry file, correct?
Yes, correct.
And one of the very first documents in there is a statement provided by you, the unsigned statement.
Yes, correct.
And Warrant Officer Mpangase was the investigating officer for all of the 7 days before you came back, and you took the inquiry file back.
Correct.
We couldn't find in that inquiry file a statement. Your statement is there, but it doesn't appear that you took a statement from Warrant Officer Mpangase and Warrant Officer Sibia for purposes of the inquiry. Why is that? And there is no entry in the investigation diary that either of the statements was obtained from the two. You seem to have collected statements from almost everybody except those two. Why is that?
There's no particular reason, Commissioner. Generally, when you're preparing for court, when something is going to...
In this explosive pair of clips from the Madlanga Commission, Colonel Gavin Jacob is further exposed as guilty of serious misconduct and deception when he was relentlessly grilled under cross-examination about his active involvement in the 541 kilograms cocaine investigation while supposedly on leave, forced to admit he continued issuing direct instructions, phoning the Forensic Science Laboratory for guidance on samples, and directing Warrant Officer Mpangase on exhibit bags and SAP-13 entries, despite claiming he had handed over the case. This damning testimony lays bare Jacob's guilt in undermining proper command structures, bypassing protocols, and maintaining de facto control over the massive 200 million rand drug haul that he then routed without any due diligence to the insecure Port Shepstone facility, where it was conveniently stolen, while also admitting he failed to reseal the container properly and violated chain of custody rules after it was reopened. These repeated failures and contradictions prove his direct role in the catastrophic handling that protected drug syndicates rather than fighting them, further validating General Mkhwanazi's whistleblowing. Before we go to the next clip now is the right time to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Now let's watch the next clip to continue seeing him fumble under pressure.
From those police stations?
No.
But you agree that that's a very short distance?
It is a short distance.
Were inquiries made? If not, why not?
Firstly, Chair, the time delay to send members, sometimes they come back with 5 or 10 bags.
What's worse?
Yes.
What's worse? Saving time and not complying with prescripts which require that exhibits should be placed in exhibit bags. What's more important? Saving time?
Yes. No, I agree, Chair. I agree.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, am I understanding your evidence correctly to be that you and your team did not have evidence bags with you or enough evidence bags with you, but you as you were at the scene, you did not make any inquiries with any police stations?
You are correct, Commissioner.
Thanks, Commissioner Baloyi. In response to a question from the chair, you indicated, did I understand you correctly, that you learned later that they were transported to Port Shepstone, not contained in evidence bags. Is that your statement?
Can you repeat that?
I had understood your answer to a question posed by the chair, that you subsequently learned that they were transported from Isipingo to Port Shepstone, not in evidence bags.
I knew that from the onset, Commissioner. Yes.
Okay, that's what I needed to clarify. So by the time you left the scene at Isipingo, you knew that they were being transported to Port Shepstone, not in evidence bags.
I did know that, Commissioner.
Thank you.
So basically, you knew even before you handed over to, is it Warrant Officer Mkhwanazi?
Yes.
So even before the handover, you already knew.
I did know that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, lastly, in that paragraph 61, the very last statement where you say your interaction with DPP office at no stage was contamination of the crime scene or integrity of the exhibits ever cited as an issue. What are you conveying in terms of, maybe my question is, well, what did the DPP office know about what happened at the scene, about how the exhibits were handled? Were they ever in a position to express a view?
Yes. Okay. They would have had sight of the entire inquiry, Commissioner. That would have outlined every statement that was there. Is in the investigation diary, Warrant Officer Pangase puts a date and time as to when he sealed them in exhibit bags.
He refers now to the 27 October discussion he had with you, and he says, I told him that since the case, open brackets, the limited exhibits or sample, close bracket, was brought to the FSL as opposed to the crime scene analyst bringing it, the case could be analyzed by anyone.
Yes.
So he didn't take issue with the fact that a sample could be analyzed. And two paragraphs earlier, or a paragraph earlier, 6.2, where you were now dealing with the total mass of exhibits and what needed to be weighed for the purposes of destruction.
Yes.
So as you and I discussed, those are separate processes because one is qualitative, the other one is quantitative. And as far as Kuzwayo is concerned, she says she understood the discussion to be about analysts going to the crime scene to do the sampling. So it was in that context that she understood it, and there may have been miscommunication because you say you were talking about samples being taken from Port Shepstone and being sent to FSL.
That is
so
correct.
That's really where the confusion is, and all three witnesses, I try to engage them on the issue just to try to understand what exactly they are saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Advocate.
Thank you for that clarification. You are clarified, Colonel. We actually had gone back to your paragraph 58 after you dealt with 59 and 60 already. I just wanted to clarify what exactly we're talking about in 58 compared to 59 and 60.
Yes, Commissioner.
So that would then lead us to your paragraph 61.
61.
Yes.
I must add that none of my actions at the crime scene or at Isipingo SAP amounted to criminal conduct. The non-availability of exhibit bags was the reason these exhibits were not sealed in bags as per National Instruction 8 of 2017. The non-acceptance of exhibits by the FSL was the reason that they were not forwarded to the FSL within 7 days. None of my actions were a deliberate attempt to ensure that the drugs were stored at Port Shepstone. During my interaction with the DPP's office, at no stage was contamination of the crime scene or the integrity of these exhibits ever cited as an issue.
Before you move on to paragraph 62, just clarify what is the purpose of referencing your interactions with the DPP insofar as the question of contamination of the crime scene is concerned? Because you don't speak about that beyond this point.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Commissioners. I think the reason I added this bit in there was just to highlight that at the time that this seizure was done, Yes, in hindsight, I realize now there were a lot of things that could have been done better. But at that stage, faced with my challenges, I'm going to try and get into that a little later. I did what I did. However, when this docket reached the DPP's office, or this inquiry reached their office, generally they are the first ones when they peruse statements, look at the content of your docket or inquiry. If they're not satisfied with the level or the standard of work in terms of handling exhibits or chain of custody, integrity of the exhibits, all of the above, they would cite the same and basically indicate to management that this case is, we're not taking it on, we are not satisfied with A, B, and C. So I put in this paragraph to show that at that stage, in terms of prosecuting this matter, if it had to go to court, the DPP's office had no issue with regards to the investigation thus far. Thank you.
Then just as a last one, the point you make is that the DPP did not raise any concerns about the integrity and the contamination of the crime scene. That's the point.
Yeah, that's it, Commissioner.
You don't go so far as to say that the DPP confirmed the integrity of the crime scene. You're not taking it that far.
No, I'm not.
Okay, thank you. Then you may.
Sorry, before you move on, you, in that paragraph where you refer, in the second sentence,
Yes.
the non-availability of exhibit bags was the reason these exhibits were not sealed in bags as per national instruction. What does the national instruction that you're referring to say?
Okay, with regards to exhibit management, Commissioner,
Yes.
It says that drugs need to be sealed in an exhibit bag. Upon entering into the SAP 13, it needs to be sealed at the scene.
Yes.
In exhibit bags.
And you say they were not sealed at the scene being at the depot
That is correct.
because there were no exhibit bags.
Yes.
But the same at Isipingo is your same, you give the same explanation.
That is correct, Commissioner.
What do you normally do when you are running short of exhibit bags? Where do you normally source them from? Because surely you have to source them from somewhere.
Yes. There's no go-to place, I would say, Chair, with regards to getting exhibit bags. You try whichever station is closer to you. You try a few stations. Some have, some don't have. And just to elaborate on that, Chair, when I go through the inquiry, I see that even on the day, I didn't know this until I perused it, even on the day of the seizure, when they proceeded to Port Shepstone, there were no exhibit bags, because I see they made an entry the next day that they had to go to Port Shepstone police station to acquire those exhibit bags. So I'm just letting the commission know that although my colleague may have alluded that we've got tons of exhibit bags, it's not always the case. Thank you.
I was, when I asked the question as to where you source the bags from,
Yes.
when you are short, I was exactly thinking of what you said, which is you call around at other police stations to source them. I was thinking of that as well.
Yes.
We have seen from the evidence that I think one of the police stations that have been mentioned is only about 20 kilometers away.
Yeah.
And I think another one is about 24 kilometers away.
Yes, sure.
Give or take. I'm not sure about the third one, which is made on WAF.
Yes.
Or rather, let me just say, one is 20, another is 24, and then there's another one. Do you know how many kilometers the third one is?
I would think it's a shorter distance from...
Even shorter than 20 and 24.
Yes.